And welcome back. This is season 3 episode. No, this is season 2 episode 3. We got. I don't want to say your real name. What do you want your crypto name to be?
Oh man, I get to choose a crypto.
Yeah,
that's like a great question, actually.
What is your crypto
First
name?
question of the night for a new crypto guy.
Yeah.
How did you go about choosing your crypto name?
I've used Ghost on many
You've
other
always
things
like
before.
Xbox, all that.
Yeah.
Like, well, not throwing.
I've always had a Ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, you were Ghost in, playing Rocket League and...
Yeah, I mean, I've been Ghost ever since I got into crypto.
Yeah.
Tyler uses his real name pretty much.
I don't know.
Oh, no, you got...
Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil.
Virgil.
Tombstone's his favorite movie. So.
That's great. I like that, dude.
Virgil
Kane.
Yeah.
I should have just went with Virgil the whole time.
I'm going to be Chief Nakahoma. Go Braves.
So, like, when you hop into...
Chief Knock.
When you hop into
Chief
crypto chats, like Telegram or Slack.
I'll be Chief Knock.
Chief Knock. Okay.
K.
Anyways, we have a new person here tonight. First time.
Chief Knock.
Just got into crypto this week, we'll say.
This week.
And so we're going to do a little Q&A with him.
Yep.
Answer whatever we can. We're missing one of our loyal members of our podcast. He's out tonight.
We need a salty.
Quote unquote sick.
Cheers.
We'll see.
One out for him.
Pouring out for the
For
home.
moonshot.
For moonshot.
Yeah, we're going to keep it quick. Quick. I'm just trying to answer some questions that some new people might have. So, Chief, I'll just keep it short.
I like it.
What was your hardest thing about getting into crypto? Was it trying to understand why to get into crypto, or like how?
So, I've been investing heavily, and I say heavily, I mean I don't have like $5 million portfolio or anything.
It's like 2 million.
But yeah, like we're gonna bridge that gap. Yeah, but I've always been really interested in stocks. I remember, without going into too much detail, I come from a family that was like save, and I just didn't. I learned from an uncle of mine, nah man, like invest. Savings only getting you this much.
Yeah.
This isn't your mom and dad or grandpa and grandma's old savings account where it got 8% interest every year.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays you're losing less, or you're losing money by just storing it in the savings.
For sure.
Unless you're using the new crypto apps that give you like 8 to 9%.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a couple online savings accounts that are great, and you can get some growth with your savings.
But yeah,
but you don't have that money at your disposal at any given time. If I got no crunch, it'd take me a week to get that money.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got them, but I plan on never seeing that money for a while.
Yeah.
But so that's when I started investing and kind of realizing like, oh man, like it was kind of old school, but he just told me like, man, find some big ETFs that track the S&P 5. So that kind of got me hooked. And then I've played the dividend game where I was like, I'm going to build a great dividend portfolio and I'm never going to work again. That whole FIRE method where you just, retire really early. I was like, I see these videos on YouTube of guys like sitting there like, I'm 32 and I retired. And I'm like, well...
And then he's making $100.
Right. So I saw that and kind of was like, that's kind of neat. But then I realized you just get taxed so heavy as soon as you start getting into big dividends. Taxes really annihilate you.
Yeah.
But I remember Ghost talking about 4 years ago.
You came to one of our meetings.
Yes, I did.
You
it was
that?
like right when you moved here. Literally right when you moved here. And
it was like one of our moved into our
and he
house.
was just like, yeah, man, if you want to hang out, like, I think we were just playing Xbox. And you were like, yeah, if you want to. We had both, like, drank our first bangs ever. And we're like, dude, look at this awesome drink. It's like 9 p.m.
Have you put the drop on yet?
Yeah. And, but he was just like, yeah, if you want to hang out, we're going to have a crypto meeting. And I was like a what, dude? And he's like, yeah, it's like crypto. That. It's like currency that's not, like, backed really by anything. And but you know, nobody can like really track it. It's kind of, And I was like, I'm so confused. Like, I was like, wait, what? And that was probably... You were probably the first person I ever heard talking about crypto.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like before it even got...
Then Virgil comes over, and he's like all jacked up and jazzed about it, and I was like...
EOS.
Yeah.
4 years later. EOS.
Yeah, dude. And you were talking about doing some big things with some of your finances at the time, taking some really big risks and putting them into crypto and gold. I think you were also talking about gold at that time too.
Yeah, we've been.
If I can remember. Which,
I made both those investments.
Yeah, and I remember Cassie. I remember. Well, Cassie's this one girl, but she was like, yeah, man, like, so this is kind of what Ryan's doing, and I was just like, that's risky, but like if he's super believes in it, then maybe there's something there that I need to like look into. And I remember looking into it, and the more I read, the more confused I was.
Yeah.
And I'm not a dumb person, but I was just like,
it's something brand new that you never
I saw so many. You were like the first like normal person that I read about like investing into crypto. A lot of these other guys that I was reading about were like guys that were getting large amounts of passive income from something else to where they almost had that risk money that they could play with.
Yeah.
But you were like the first one. You're like, dude, I'm just going to do this. And so I kind of like put that in my back pocket, like researched it. And as soon as I was about to go into it, like a year and a half, it just plummeted. And I remember being like, maybe of course that was well before I really learned about buying the dip. But I was just like, maybe everybody realized like this is kind of whack. And and that the value just plummeted. Yeah. But then all of a sudden,
he's talking about 2018.
Yeah,
I know it.
I'm eating. Sorry, and I'm going to tell my story, and then I'm going to ask. Yeah. But like, and then I remember being like, I was like, I was just so punch shy, and so I make so little money that the money I do invest, I wanted to see like something out of it and like have that safety net, as much safety net as a stock could give you. So I just kept dumping into S&P 5. Like, of course, I've got the Acorns app, so that is essentially just Vanguards. Yeah. And, had no complaints. But now I'm starting to see the problems, and I think, without getting a giant conspiracy, like COVID really brought out a lot of the problems that we have with our government being way too over-involved in our currency and our financials. And
making people dependent on them also.
Yeah, I'm totally dependent. And I mean, I would be lying if I said I wasn't chomping at the bit to get my stimulus check, because we're hurting too. But the thing is that my eyes are open to realize, like, sooner or later you're going to start handing out so much money, and then that's not going to be worth anything. And then it got me more and more worried as I go into that wormhole of, I've got buddies in construction saying they can't finish houses because they can't afford wood.
Yeah.
But then you hear Jerome Powell getting up there talking about how inflation's staying low, but then gas has gone up. In 4 months, gas has gone up 30 cents.
Oh, it's gone up $1.
At least. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, at least that I know of. Because every time I fill my gas, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And then my buddy in construction is like, it's costing, we're battling for wood and paying insane amounts of money. And I'm like, okay, so maybe they're covering up this whole inflation thing on the dollar amount, but tangible things all around us that have just as much value are skyrocketing in front of us. Our grocery bill, we buy the same. You know us, like, we religiously buy the same thing. Our grocery bill's gone up $10, $20 each time. Why is that? We're not buying anything different, but everything is like
power of the dollar is
ticked
less
up.
And less.
Every price. That gallon of milk went up 5 cents.
And let me ask you this.
And my eyes are open to it, and I'm like, I hope I'm not too late, but maybe I need to start diving into an alternate form of currency.
Have your wages gone up?
No, my wages haven't gone up at all.
And neither has anybody else.
Yeah, my wages.
That's
my
what's
wages
happened.
have actually been frozen. I have not gotten a raise in my profession in 4.5 years.
Jeez.
I have not a merit raise, anything.
Really?
Really, it's so bad,
Wow.
so toxic.
Our
And I
company
won't
had
say
it.
what I do, but it's so toxic.
Dude, strippers usually make way more money.
I know. Well,
Tips are down.
Tips are down.
tips are down, man.
They're
All
throwing
right, that was
pennies.
good. That was a good backstory.
People are doing way crazier things nowadays.
Gotta eat, dog.
Dude, you gotta go places you would have never gone in the 90s.
All right, so that was how you found crypto.
That was a good
And then-
testimony.
That was.
Yeah, that's my
That was
testimony. That's my crypto testimony. What, to like 8 minutes? There you go. So I'm starting to realize, like, whoa, I need to really start looking somewhere else. Fortunately, I've got 2 guys in my life that have been doing this for 4 years, and I kind of used to secretly, in the back of my mind, maybe make fun of.
Don't worry.
That,
You're not the only
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Started listening to this awesome podcast called Digital Edge, and loved it. Was like, I was captivated, and started learning some things, and then Ghost over here kind of like really showed me the ropes, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, I feel like I'm able to track through some of this stuff, but I still feel like I'm looking at letters and numbers. I have no clue
Yeah.
what they mean.
You just scratched the surface.
So
So all you
yeah,
have right now is Coinbase and MetaMask,
I've got Coinbase, MetaMask, and Trust.
Trust Wallet.
So that was going to be my first question for both of y'all, is if you had 3 apps, and I know there's hundreds out there, but if you had 3 apps that you could have on your phone
I gotta look
that would help you flow through your daily crypto dive in, like, what would it be? What would they be?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
CoinMarketCap, Twitter,
Twitter.
and Telegram. That's all I use. Now that is for
What is now Telegram? Is that just a like where people chat about it, or is
yeah.
that
So we're in a couple groups.
He might be in a couple groups.
right?
He's in a couple hundred groups.
I've seen yours.
I'm only in a few groups that,
Right.
and I'm in the only groups that I'm in. He's also in.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not true. I'm in everything EOS and bullish on EOS, and then our other ones, or you know which ones I'm talking about. So, Telegram is like, basically, it's these guys, for us, or for me, it's been guys that we've met kind of along the way through the journey,
Yeah.
and they're on the same journey. And, you know, these guys are literally from, like, one's from Canada, one's from Boston, like,
Right.
never met these guys.
A couple from France.
But, I mean, dude,
Britain.
we trust them.
Yeah.
I trust them. And I don't know them, but it's like, that's why I use Telegram,
Right.
because it's like-minded people. And dude, what you'll find in your crypto journey, there's a lot of scammers, and there's a lot of people who, and there's some websites that are scams, but as far as like the regular person, it'll be nothing but help. Like, people
Right.
want to help you, and Telegram's a lot like that. And that's why Telegram's helped me a lot, just for information,
Right.
finding coins, getting on some white lists and some pre-sales, stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be able to find it myself. It would be, I don't want to say impossible.
It's all word of mouth.
Yeah, it's word of mouth,
Looking it
man.
up right now.
So
Telegram.
Telegram is very important. Twitter's important because, I mean, I didn't use Twitter for like the first 2 years of my crypto career,
Right.
and just because I didn't use Twitter,
Yeah, I don't have Twitter, so
it's important.
it's important.
Yeah, Chief Knock. That's good. That's a great,
Yeah,
great,
that's a good one.
great crypto name.
All right,
But
is it Telegram Messenger?
yeah,
Yeah.
some people use something called Discord. I have a Discord.
I've heard of Discord before too.
I
I
never-
like Telegram the best.
Me too. I just never use Discord.
Slack, Discord. Just not a fan.
Mm.
So what are your 3?
CoinMarketCap also. Now,
CoinMarketCap.
What is CoinMarketCap?
that is like looking at. It's a good comparison, like looking at like the Dow Jones.
Okay.
Like, it is every single crypto. Now,
Right.
but if I only use it on an app, if I'm on my browser, like on my computer,
Yeah.
then I'm on something called CoinGecko.
CoinGecko.
For the most part.
Okay.
Because they have more coins. And so it can be an early coin where CoinMarketCap is owned by CZ, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
he? So it's a little more vetted where they're not going to list shit coins.
Yep.
But there's a lot of good information on there.
Shitcoin.
Yeah,
That's
Shitcoin
funny.
Island. But
That's
as
funny.
you know, MetaMask, which I don't do anything. Coinbase, you gotta have Coinbase.
Yeah, I have Coinbase. So
Coinbase.
that's where I've purchased from.
Yeah,
and it seems to be working
You don't have
quick.
to have it.
Well, or Gemini.
For a new person, I would
Yeah,
suggest.
I mean Coinbase is like the easiest way. A lot of people are salty about Coinbase because they have stupid high fees. But my theory on Coinbase.
So is $2.99 a high fee? Like okay, like today I just saw.
Just use random numbers.
That's
Use
true. Yeah,
numbers.
that's true. Well, I'll say this: I bought the dip on Ethereum and Litecoin,
Mm-hmm.
and for both transactions, I put in a certain amount, and both transactions, it took actually, it's pretty simple: 3% out. 3% out. Is that a hefty fee for crypto, or is that?
So I think of if you're comparing it to something like TD Ameritrade or something like that, then because your trade's going to be $7 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I could trade thousands of dollars on TD Ameritrade, and I'm only going to pay $7.
Right.
Where if I
That's
did
exactly
$50,
right.
it's going to be $7, which is, I mean, that's a pretty heavy fee right there. So that's what 14% fee on a $50 trade, which is stupid, you know. So that's Coinbase sucks because of that, but without Coinbase, I don't know if the market would be where it's at because there's so many users and there's so much money that's flowed through that entity into the crypto world that, as bad as it sucks, eventually there's going to be more competitor, and there already is, and then you're going to see the prices go down.
Yeah, they're going to have to compete.
Yeah.
I did like on Coinbase. I was telling him over here that I liked some of the videos that they had, and I mean you got some free stuff for it.
Yeah.
But I learned some things. I was like, oh, like I don't know. Maybe it just takes me being a '90s kid. Like maybe it just takes it putting it into cartoons for me to like be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. Like that makes lots of sense, dude. Like if you would have put crypto and you had Dexter's Lab like talking about it, I'd have been fine, dude. It all made perfect sense. But
Coinbase is important.
That's good to know.
What would you say, Ron? Go.
Yeah.
We got some editing.
It's all right. Telegram #1. MetaMask.
What is MetaMask doing? What is it like when you downloaded it?
MetaMask is just an extension that can operate on the browsers that allows you to interact with different blockchains.
So is it really more important is it?
It's a smart wallet.
Okay, and so isn't that also what the Trust
wallet is a smart wallet, yeah.
So does it make sense to have two wallets or?
Yeah, I mean
does?
you could have. I mean, dude, there was a time where I've had.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you say if you had let's say you had 5 wallets, but you had dozens of different coins that you've invested in, would it make sense to have those spread out into a couple different wallets, or do you want them all in one wallet? Or is that kind of a higher risk thing?
So
it is a higher risk for sure.
I would say if you had them all in one wallet, that'd be equally as risky, if not more, if you had them all in one wallet.
It's definitely, because if that one wallet, see, a blockchain's not hackable.
Right.
But a wallet is.
Yeah, that's what I've read already.
Yeah.
And if you lose that one seed phrase or it gets destroyed, then that whole wallet's gone.
Well, and there's different types of wallets.
That scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, that's freedom. That's freedom. You know?
Oh, I mean, that's the reason you're getting into it, but it's also the thing that scares me. I'm like, okay, 12 or Like,
There's an immense responsibility.
there's
in
been some
crypto.
times I'm like, I can barely remember my 6-digit PIN code for my debit card. You know,
6 digits?
Oh, dude, yeah. Don't. There's a certain bank you should never bank with that I bank with. And it's not happy about it, but.
And
6
it also
digits.
depends, like, so there are different types of wallets also. So you've got like a MetaMask wallet, then you have an exchange wallet,
Yeah.
like a Coinbase. Coinbase is, you have a wallet on there. And then MetaMask is an extension of a wallet
Okay.
where you're interacting with the Ethereum blockchain, and you can actually interact with a couple Bitcoin.
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I have a question then also, and if you can't answer this because of a certain thing, that's fine. Do you have a bias towards where you lean as far as what coins you lean to? Like, when you get on, and are you looking at a certain couple of coins, and you're being like, that's where I'm banking on my growth being?
Oh, I mean,
Because I feel like I've opened it up twice this week, and there's been like new coins. I feel like there's just tons of new coins coming out, but then I see at the top Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, BNB.
There's always going to be like tier 1 class,
Yeah.
tier 2.
So
It's called high cap, mid cap, and low cap.
With the there was some Bitcoin that was just because I opened the Coinbase app that comes with it that I got. That was kind of neat. And that was Bitcoin. But then there's also been Ethereum that's been going up and down a lot lately. I'm just having a hard time, like, are these...
Trying to figure out where to put your money?
Yeah, like, I mean, I know that crypto at a whole is pretty volatile. But y'all are saying, like, it's been, like, super bullish. When and where do you decide, like, hey, I've got some money, I'm going to throw it down when it's all bull? Like...
Well... I'll speak for myself.
I know this is but like
I have different portions of my portfolio. So
Yeah.
I have a never sell portion, which I don't care what happens.
Yeah,
it's road. Actually, all the money, all the fiat I put into this years ago has been totally wrote off.
Right.
So I don't care if I do care. I don't want to say that, but if all this went to zero, my day to day is not going to change.
Right.
So there's a portion of my portfolio I will never sell, no matter what.
Yeah.
There's also a portion where I'm not short term, but it's kind of like a midterm trade. So where I will hold it for years, like 5 years probably. And then I'm waiting on a bull run, which I think we're in.
Super cycle.
Like I'm waiting for this to go
y'all
real
keep saying
bull.
super cycle. You said it on your last one too. What does that mean?
It's just like
because in all my times in stocks, I've never heard somebody say it.
So like 2017, 2018, we saw Bitcoin at like 24 high, 22 high.
22 high, I think.
22 high.
It was 20. In 2018, that December, I think it hit 20, and then that
was the end of the bull run, and then it crashed to like 3 or 4 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it like slowly went up and down. Maybe got to like 10, but nothing was like popping.
Yeah.
And then
I gotta ask,
all these
like,
institutional money start coming in.
Yeah.
And then you start to see a flipping happen.
Right.
Where the bulls take over, and money just keeps flowing in.
Right.
And then everything is just going up with Bitcoin. And
So do y'all have, and this may be a dumb question, but this is me still trying to learn how to grasp onto this. Are y'all trying to hold enough to where at one point, and probably not that far down the road, if things continue, the actual dollar, US dollar, plummets or goes to less than nothing, and y'all have enough to live a life based off of cryptocurrency, or are y'all just trying to ride this out until crypto skyrockets and time it up right at the tip of that bull,
I'm not waiting that long.
Mountain of this bull run, and you dump it, and then you kind of start over? Is that a bad question?
I would say we're probably trying to play the macro swings at this point. I mean, I will definitely pull out a very large portion of my holdings. Probably close to 80% of what I have. Maybe less, maybe 75.
And
70.
I would say that's very, like I said, been in this week for a week, but I can already see that being a goal of mine too. Like,
well, and dude, I'm telling you, whenever
the hard part is selling, because your gut's gonna say, "Oh, it can keep going."
Yeah,
and you're just gonna have to accept.
I've had that problem with stocks.
You're gonna have to accept taking.
I had that problem with so many of my dividend stocks. And some of them have bit me in the ass, and some of them I'm like, wow, I timed that up perfect.
Yeah. Well,
I came out looking like a champ right there, dude.
So really, if the last 4 years for us has done anything, and we've all talked about our emotions a lot, it's because, dude, I'm telling you, the euphoria of making money quickly is insane, and like you said, it's hard to accept taking profits because it's hard to accept the profits and then watch something keep going.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah. And that's happened. And
humbling.
but one thing we all kind of live by is it's never a bad decision to take profits ever. It's never a bad decision. As far as like the dollar crashing and stuff like that, I think there's still going to be time, like probably a decade. Yeah. I think that what we've just seen was another influx of capital to float credit again, which is exactly what happened in 2008. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, we're going to go through this crazy crash. Jeff Berwick was like, 2020, we're going to have a crash. Well, we probably should have. And we definitely should have went to some sort of less of a recession and more of a depression in 2008, 2009. And we didn't. So what they did was they floated credit and just that's why I think we're seeing asset prices skyrocketing, stocks, are going crazy. And when I say assets, I'm more referring to real estate.
I know that
stocks are
stocks have been the craziest. This has been the craziest year. I mean, it's like one day you turn that on and it is green as green can be, and the next day it's down like so much, like red. And I'm like, how? And some of these stocks that have done so well for the last 3 years are down, and some of these stocks that you would be like, never in a million years think that would ever be green are hitting new highs.
Yeah.
And that worries me a little bit. It really does. Because it doesn't take a lot of common sense to realize like that stock shouldn't be doing that well, except that this market is so whacked out right now.
Well, it's like that with real estate, man. I talked to a fellow today, and he's moving up here from South Florida, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, they're wanting his house. He's like, I bought this house for like $80,000 or something. They're wanting to pay me like, it was like $200,000 or $300,000. He's like, I'm selling it and I'm moving out of there. Like I'm gonna take that money, and he's like, it's just stupid down there, and he's like, I don't know how long it's gonna last, and I think it's going to last. Well,
The Big Short, man.
So I was going to tell you this when you were talking about the stock market, is that there's a book I read called Dark Pools that talks about the plumbing of the stock market, and also there's a good book called Flash Boys that explains a lot about how the stock market actually works, and it puts it in layman's terms,
right?
So that someone like me can semi-understand it, and the stock market. Crypto is volatile.
Yeah.
But it's volatile because it's unhindered.
Right.
So the stock market, if it plummets a certain amount, they literally hit a breaker and they shut it off for the day.
Yep.
So it can't go any lower. So I think that the stock market would be equally as volatile. If not more.
And crypto, from what I've gathered, is like you can trade almost all day long.
It's 24/7, dude.
That's pretty nice. Whereas
that's the bad part. That's the bad part.
I say it's nice because like yesterday I was up at 2 a.m. and I was just sitting there and I was like, it looks good, I'll buy, dude. Like, and I was like, never done this before on any of my other stocks. Like, buying at 2 a.m.
What's really cool is now, because of crypto, you can buy stocks. There's something called injective protocol.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy some stocks through that. What else? Well, MetalX.
Is there any crypto ETFs?
There was just one launched in Canada.
Right?
A Bitcoin
would that
ETF.
work?
Would that
work? Yeah. I'd like that.
So, dude, that's why you're seeing
Ethereum app has a lot of index funds you can buy of like certain crypto categories.
You're seeing these companies skyrocket that have exposure to Bitcoin. So, Tesla has exposure. MicroStrategy.
Elon just 100 mil.
1.5 billion. 1.2 billion.
Yeah, billion. That's what it was. Yeah, 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's a little bit.
That's why we think the super cycle is coming, because all this money from institutional investors.
What did he buy into? Ethereum or Bitcoin? How much isn't there a limited amount of Bitcoin?
20. So right now,
so
there's
how did he buy that much?
Well, because it's supply demand. So he just paid the market price because the market is depicting what the price is.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's be, but because the market price was that high, but let's say the market price was $1 and he put in, then he would have had that much.
Well,
right?
If people were selling,
if
people were selling, there's only 10 people selling it. They could say, "No, we want $100."
Yeah,
and that's what I do think is kind of cool about it too. Is like it's super market controlled, right? Like,
well, it's pure.
Yeah.
You don't have anything. There can be manipulation from whales,
right?
And a whale in crypto is someone who owns a ton of a coin.
So now Elon could.
Well, but I don't even know. Elon's not really even a whale.
I mean,
he's not.
He's
a whale, but I mean,
with that purchase, is he even in the top 10 as far as crypto?
Well,
goes?
see, Elon didn't buy it. This is what's so significant. Tesla.
Right, yeah.
So this is what's so significant about that purchase is that they literally have Bitcoin on their balance sheet now, which is, if you are invested in Tesla, you now have exposure to Bitcoin.
Right.
So that's.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Tesla did it.
Yeah, it was Tesla. So that's what's so significant about these companies putting on Bitcoin on their balance sheet to hedge against inflation. And you're going to see, and you're going to probably see companies, I think we'll see way more companies jump in.
If Tesla's doing it, then like Apple is probably not far from doing it.
Well, so Apple's sitting on like 200, Apple and Microsoft, they're sitting on like $200 billion of cash.
Right.
So what's happening to that cash is that dude, Michael Saylor has a great 10-minute spiel about this, and he goes into the math, which I'm not a corporate treasury guy, but I'm just a degenerate, so I just follow Telegram and random dudes called Chief Knock, and I'm like, great pick, Chief.
Yeah, Chief.
Chief.
Nice.
Great shitcoin, man. So I mean, those guys are in they're thinking it's different. So the way he was saying it, he was like, you have to take that capital because they have to do what's in their stockholders' best interest. So you have to take that capital, and it cannot be stagnant. Because like you said earlier in this conversation, if you're just saving money, you're losing money.
Yeah.
So they have to take that capital and allocate it somewhere. Right now, there's no better performing asset in the world than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And crypto in general. But Bitcoin, and what's crazy is Bitcoin is archaic in the crypto world.
Is Bitcoin the safest?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I would say as far as longevity.
Is that why? Because I keep hearing people's investing into Bitcoin. Primarily. Are there other companies that are like, oh, I'll do half Bitcoin, half Ethereum?
Oh yeah, there's companies that are, dude. Eventually, companies are going to have they're going to have crypto on their balance. Their balance sheets, and there's going to be, tons of them because it's going to be an exchangeable asset, just like money is today.
Yeah, right.
And you're going to be able to buy goods and services with it. And
how is crypto going to be dispersed to people that? How is it going to get worldwide with people maybe who don't have access to computers, electronic.
You can do it by paper.
You can do crypto.
I mean, there's
I find that them being so far behind the 8 ball, like when you're doing it by paper. And I get that there's always gonna be poor, like I get that, and there's always gonna be rich, and that there's a giant lifestyle difference between the two. But like I would just say somebody in like a very third world country that doesn't have access to even internet, which there are people like that in my downtown that I work, that don't have internet.
Yeah.
How are they going to keep up? Is it even a possibility, or are we going to just leave them in the dust? I mean, crypto.
Well, I would say it's similar. Like how would a third world country keep up with America now? I mean, our lifestyle and our life is light years ahead of. Yeah. And what we're just seeing is just. I mean, dude, this is human progression, So, as far as them,
and I mean, I'm not trying to sound cruel or like this whole equal guy. Like, no. I mean, I get it, dude. It's a dog eat dog, and some people just got to work. But like, some people don't have the exposure to it. Like, I mean, I live right here. I've heard y'all talking about it, and I'm just getting into it. But there's probably somebody that's never even held a cell phone before. Or anything like that are just so far behind the 8 ball. Yeah. And I was just wondering, like, how is it that they can even sit there and catch up or keep up with this?
So, well, I'll tell you this. I read this today. In Nigeria, the government outlawed Bitcoin there.
Well, yeah, because like North Korea, I believe internet is illegal. Right?
So it's not illegal. You can only use their internet.
Right.
Which they control.
So... And then if they totally control it, then getting involved in crypto would be probably illegal there.
It's very possible.
And dude, crypto could very well be outlawed. But what you'll see
They try to do it in the States.
Yeah, well, people will just move. I mean, because you're going to have places that are not going to outlaw it, and where the minds right now are in crypto, like the thinkers are in crypto, and the developers. So this isn't something that you just. It would be like outlawing the printing press, back in the day. I mean, it's new. It's a different type of information, and what you'll see is you'll see different countries be accepting of it, and people will just go there, and what you'll see is that place becomes super rich, and they'll have a robust economy. They'll be very wealthy citizens, and what comes with that? Armies. I mean, a society comes with that, and you'll see the Marxist of the left, which just doesn't work, and they keep trying to perpetuate it. Those places will crumble. I mean, and we're seeing that now. In Europe, you see, why does socialism work over there? Well, because it doesn't. We protect them. America protects them, and people like to say it's working over there. It's not working. I mean, and fiat is Marxist. Yeah. And a central bank is communist.
Yeah.
Now, there are some pros.
I've heard that many a times and thought deep into that, and I have to totally agree.
Well, there are some pros to having a one currency, because what you could have had was multiple state currencies, which then you have multiple exchange rates. And I'm speaking more just to the United States. Because really what was happening back in the day was that there wasn't like a U.S. dollar. There were banknotes, and banks were. That's where the term banknote comes from. It's from they were banknotes, and these banks were backing themselves by gold, and they were using fiat or paper money to trade, and then you could turn that money in for gold. Well, then you have the dollar, and then you could still trade the dollar. But what the dollar did was it set a medium of exchange, and it was easier to trade goods and services that way, which I think that was a good thing. Where we went wrong was Federal Reserve Act of 1913, and then whenever Nixon... I'm just saying...
Daggum Jekyll Island.
Well, and then Nixon took us off the gold
Jekyll
standard.
freaking island, dude.
Great place, besides that event.
Yeah. It is.
Besides that meeting.
It is beautiful.
But crypto is kind of like is now.
There's a book
different
about that.
Yeah, great book.
And an audiobook.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to some new questions.
Okay.
Well, that was
actually we got off topic, and
that
all that
great.
started, and that was great. That wasn't a bad ramble. I followed you the whole time. That was awesome. I will say.
That was very clean.
Even sipping a good
Thanks,
beer, we'll scratch the label.
Thank Jumper for these.
Yeah, but
Thank
how
you,
much
Jumper.
Bitcoin is there out there right now? And they're done making it, right? There's no more.
Yeah.
So
they're still making Bitcoin.
So the way it works is, whenever you send a transaction on the Bitcoin network,
Yeah.
or the Bitcoin blockchain, if you will, I'm trying to look up how many there are in circulation right now.
No one will know an exact number because of how many have been lost.
Yeah.
Or thrown away back when they were pennies.
You can know how many there are.
And that's that.
Yeah, you'll know how many there are, but
The only guy that knows is the Kiyosaki, Akamoto, whatever.
Yeah, you can know how many there are, but
Robert Kiyosaki?
No, not
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
not Rich Dad.
Satoshi?
What's the dude?
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Satoshi Nakamoto. There you go.
Yeah.
Knock.
He's not.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Dude, and if you find out, this is what the conspiracy says. if you find out who he actually is, it could devalue all this.
I think it'd be great. I mean, actually,
Some
I
peop-
would
some
fear
people
for his
think-
life.
Some people think it'd be great, and some people think that by knowing who actually was the curator of all of this.
So
it
there's
could-
18.7 million in circulation. Now, that have been minted,
Right.
made. So the way they come to be is, if you send me Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network, let's say you send me one, it goes out into the network, and it's a very, very hard math problem that these computers solve. And then the computer that solves it receives it and sends it to me, and then
Through a node.
and receives as a reward a small portion
Yeah.
of a new Bitcoin.
Right.
And so, and there's
Is that
it's
what
blocks.
mining is?
Yeah, that's what mining
So
is.
they're solving all these problems, and for each problem they solve, they're getting little chunks.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, that chunk will put together a whole coin, and then there's a new coin.
So
No.
No.
So-
That's
so
You
getting-
get paid in Bitcoin.
okay.
yeah.
But
Well,
it'll be a
but-
fraction of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
It'll be
gotcha.
like 0.00003.
And then whatever Bitcoin is at that time, that's that fraction you're getting.
Yeah, I mean it could be $300 worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
And there's only ever going to be 21 million, and that stops in 2,140. Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
I was
right.
just listening to a documentary about that this morning,
Yeah.
and it was
How many millionaires or billionaires are there in the world?
Well, there's 42 millionaires in the world.
That can't be right.
No, there's more millionaires than that on Sea Island.
42.
That's what 42 million. That's what the internet says. I've read a couple
No,
articles.
billionaires. Billionaires. There's 42 billionaires in the world. Millionaires?
I think there's 42
Dude,
millionaires.
There's 42 millionaires on the New York Yankees.
42 million millionaires.
42 million. That's
Oh,
Did I say? I said.
You said 42.
Oh, my bad, my
single,
bad, my bad.
Single digit.
yeah. So the NFL stars are the only millionaires.
I was like, there's 42 millionaires on the New York Yankees right now, dude.
My bad.
No, you're good. I got it.
There's only
I'm-
42
You're
million
excited, and I am too.
millionaires
Yeah.
on the planet.
Yeah.
There are only ever going to be 21
42 million millionaires. That's a lot of millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are not one of them.
Not yet.
Well,
Not yet, but maybe someday.
And there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. So there is not enough Bitcoin for every millionaire to have one. That statistic blows my mind.
Yeah, that actually,
Yeah.
man, I feel kind of good about it now.
So I mean, not one. Everybody could get a half. But so think of this: you have companies like Tesla. Block One is a company
Tesla
that
just
launched
spent
EOS.
that much. They probably just got a ton of them, dude. That's
I mean, whatever the math is, they got it at like 45,000, 50,000. So
Yeah,
what,
it is.
1.2 billion divided by 50,000. Whatever. So they got
100 of them.
I can do that.
no. I think
me
they
a
got
second.
50. I think 50,000.
Yeah.
No. It's somewhere else, 60 or 70,000, something like that. I don't know, 60,000. But
Anyways.
so you have companies like Block
Yeah, there's
One.
only 21 million Bitcoin.
Block One has 240,000 Bitcoins. And then, I mean, you've got who knows how many individuals who own thousands,
24,000 Bitcoins.
For 1.2 billion?
1.2 billion at 50,000 each is 24,000 Bitcoins.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
24,000 Bitcoins, and you said there's how many?
There's only 18.7 million circulating right
So
now.
he's got like 3% of the Bitcoins just in Tesla.
Well, they're like I said, man.
That makes you want to. That makes you. I mean, lucky Tesla people. Dadgummit.
So, but
Why couldn't I make it?
Hey, let's go ahead and get to some more questions.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
This is getting longer than our viewers would probably want to watch.
We can trim the fat. Okay.
All right, let me ask you.
Where do I jump into? Explain mining again. Explain mining one more time.
mining is just so mining is what's called proof of work, which is where the computers it is the consensus mechanism. So that is what's making sure that's validating the blockchain. So whenever that one computer solves the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that Bitcoin is transacted to me from you, then there's a certain it's basically like a transaction ID,
Yeah.
but it changes on every single computer on the Bitcoin
block.
network. So that's a new block. That's where the blockchain comes
Right.
in. So that's why it's called blockchain. And it's open ledger. So you can go in and verify, and that's why it's so secure, because if you were trying to double spend your Bitcoin, you would have to change every single block, basically, to the Genesis block. To the very beginning. So that's why it's secure. And that's what mining is, securing the network. That's what mining really is. It's proof of work. But, I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this wallet. I've got, let's just say I'm using the Trust wallet. And it's got a certain amount, let's just say 100 Bitcoins on there. And I die. Does that Bitcoin die with me? Or does that Bitcoin...
It depends on if you gave your wife your information to log in.
Okay, so can you pass down Bitcoin just like you can pass down...
You can pass down your information to log into your wallet so she can have control over it.
Okay, that's good to know. So,
But the Bitcoin's
I
in
gotta
the wallet.
find out if I like
it's
my
not.
wife or not.
It's in the wallet.
Yeah,
As long as you control the keys, it's your Bitcoin.
yeah. No key, no Bitcoin.
That's right. Andreas is like, yeah.
Not your key, not your Bitcoin.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
What is an NFT?
We have our specialist here.
NFT is a wildly crazy hype item right now. It's a
And do you think it's
non-fungible
going to
token.
hold its value? Like, is that going to be something that holds for a long time? Because I
think
know,
we'll
like, a
see-
baseball card's held for a long
Yeah.
time.
I think we'll see ups and downs with the hype. But long term,
Yeah.
NFTs as a whole, yeah.
Because,
For sure.
like, all baseball cards, like, if you really look at it, most baseball cards are super down. When I was collecting, when I was younger, dude, I used to go to card shows, collect. You could go
Yeah.
through, and you could sell basic cards all the time and make good money off of them. But now it's only certain cards making bank.
Yeah.
Your typical, like, Honus Wagner.
It's just supply and demand at this
But,
time.
and I know, like, the King Griffey Jr. card kind of ruined baseball cards altogether because they just overprinted that one card. so much, and it like just like overprinting it, whatever. But
I think the value of NFTs hadn't even begun though.
yeah, but explain where that funding comes from. Where is it totally based off of the value that a specific person gives that, or is it?
It depends on the item.
Who's deciding? Like, perfect example. We get on that one site. I don't know if we want to bring
Strains?
up. Okay, strains. Who decides that pot plant is worth this many tokens?
The buyer.
Right.
Yeah, this is how I saw a buyer. Seller
So
will
the
put it at a price, and the buyer wants it.
And then so and then if the buyer's like, yeah, that's a whack price. Like, I'm not spending that much money.
It'll sit there
Then
where the
it'll
seller
sit
will
there.
drop the price.
Just like any other transaction.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
I
it's
see-
like
I
a
mean,
garage sale.
NFTs in the future, people won't really be buying it for like hype. It'd be more like your bank. I mean, your house. The deed to your house would be an NFT that you can transfer to somebody when you sell it to verify that it's your house on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Everybody can pull it up instead of being like a piece of paper or something the bank holds.
Yeah. I just saw Taco Bell just did a couple NFTs.
Really?
I also saw that Taco Bell, and this is me just diving into some wormholes, because like I said, I was up at 2 a.m. I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Ready Player One.
We talked about that last
Right.
podcast.
It's that's kind of a crazy movie, but the more like you start talking about some of these things, the more you realize like maybe that's not that far fetched.
Yeah. Especially when you can interact, like the NFTs we
Well-
buy now. If you could interact with them on your Oculus,
Yeah. So like
That'd be a
Taco
lot
Bell
cooler.
is talking about, how do I word this and make it sound? There's certain companies that are talking about purchasing property in virtual reality to put ads.
did you get that from our video last week?
I've seen that video, but
That's what we were
there's
talking about.
also other
digital real estate.
digital
ads.
real estate.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember what NFT or what. There's like coins that you can buy that are digital real estate, and I was and Taco Bell is one of them that just did that. I also read that Rob Gronkowski is putting out a bunch of NFTs, and I was just like, I still don't get it. But you were telling me like there's a GIF of LeBron James dunking that sold for like $300,000 or something crazy, and I was just like, I have that GIF on my phone. You know, like why is somebody spending that much money?
I know.
And it's
Some
solely
things
based
just don't make sense.
solely based off of the fact that that was the first one, or like the original, or something.
Could
But
be like the first LeBron James card
Right.
in real life. Because I mean, people see future value
Yeah.
for those types of
So
things.
is NFT essentially a crypto, or is that
NFT,
something
yeah.
totally different?
NFT is like Ethereum.
Yeah.
You have ERC20 tokens,
Yeah.
which is like coins,
Yeah.
and then you have ERC721,
Right.
I think it is, which is like it's another layer on the blockchain.
Right.
It's kind of confusing.
No, it's super confusing.
Just another.
And then I'm going to go back to this. What is the major difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Like, why do some people say, oh, like I turn on YouTube, which is where I get a lot of info from, is I'll just sit there and like listen to people talk
Well, I think
about different
Vitalik
things.
used to be working with the Bitcoin blockchain. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
You know anything about that? And
He was a writer for.
Is that the nerdy guy
Bitcoin.
that started
he started
Bitcoin
Ethereum.
or Ethereum? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talks with like a lisp and all that. It's pretty funny.
He's actually got like a really great personality. Like
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
I mean, he's really funny. I think he's funny. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
got one
got
of those sense of humors.
yeah, he's got a really funny sense of humor, like a nerdy sense of humor, and I like the guy.
I like him
I think
too.
he
It
built-
makes
he-
me money.
He built ETH to be faster,
Yeah,
more scalable,
right.
easier to transact on.
I've noticed that when Ethereum's coming in, it's there a lot quicker than when Bitcoin's coming in. That's true.
ETH network is faster.
Yeah.
But it's also more expensive now because of gas fees. Because the network's so
Okay,
congested.
that's a great statement. Gas fees. What is that?
That's what you're paying to have the transact on the network.
But so let's say just like with a shipping fee, if I'm okay with just waiting 5 or 6 days
You can pay
for
a
my
lower
ground
fee.
shipping,
Yeah.
can I choose to say, hey, I don't need this right now?
Yeah, you pick, well, like in MetaMask, you can change your gas settings.
Okay.
So you can pay a
may
lower
need
price.
you to show me how to do that.
You can pay a lower price for a slower transaction.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm buying some of these things, and I'm like, I don't care if it's here today. Like,
Yeah. Because the
I'm,
miners will pick a transaction that's going to pay more because then they get in return more money from it.
That's because you've said that before, like, and I've heard gas, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. Like, but I guess my brain registers like shipping, like ground shipping versus next day delivery.
Because I mean, like for you, if you go on Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange, and you want to buy $100 worth of tokens, and if the network's congested, the gas fee might be $70.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only getting $30 worth of a token and paying $70 to the network.
Right.
That's a big
because
issue.
The network is so congested.
Dude, that's a lot. That's a big deal. When
oh yeah.
In I mean, there's times where I'm just putting in like little bits of change here and there that like my wife won't get mad at me for.
That's why I've moved a lot of my
like that she may not notice, like, but if I'm throwing big chunks in there, I'm
yeah.
Like,
she's
just like,
gas fees.
Dude, and then I'm sitting there trying to explain to her, babe, crypto is the future, like.
That's why.
Don't worry, I'm spending all this money. No, I can't buy anything with it right now, but it's okay.
That's why all my trading, or 90% of my trading portfolio, is on Binance now.
Gotcha.
Binance Smart Chain, because the fees are pennies compared to like $20-50 on ETH.
Gotcha.
So I'm saving thousands of dollars a week in transaction fees alone.
Yeah,
which adds up.
Yeah, the scaling issue.
Yeah, the more money I get
issue.
involved, the more I'm gonna need to get that trim that
this
fat
is just
on those fees.
A brand new crypto podcast edition.
Of course,
we'll do a intermediary crypto podcast
a couple
edition.
months, dude.
Yeah,
when I'm really wormholing, I'm gonna have a beard, like. I'm not like not sleeping. I'm gonna be drinking energy drinks like you are right now.
Oh yeah, you'll be up at like 4 a.m. just to check a price on a coin.
Yeah,
just to make sure. Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah,
maybe not you, but
I hope I'm not that bad, but I probably will be.
I'm telling you, dude,
I've been there before,
especially when this bull run like hits.
Yeah.
We're all kind of, I know, we're all kind of burnt out. I mean,
how are y'all feeling? Right, that's gonna be my my final question was gonna be like. A lot of people are saying we're just getting into this, but y'all been into it for 4 years. Are you excited?
I mean, dude, I'm ecstatic.
Are you just like? You just like, dude? Let's just let this run through. Let's get our money and dip.
Well, I'm in a holding.
And will I ever see y'all again if y'all sell out? Like,
no, dude, definitely not.
No, definitely not. You might get a postcard, but
you'll get an NFT postcard.
Yeah, it's gonna be anonymous, dude. You're gonna get through your Oculus.
The amount of time I'm putting into
Virgil says,
is
"What
just
up?"
Exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's probably not. It. I would say, based off of the schedule you're describing, it's not sustainable for much longer.
I mean, you have to. It's hard.
Is there a perk to being up at 4 a.m.?
Oh, I don't wake up. Well, I mean, I get up.
I mean, there definitely is.
4:35 a.m., but I don't.
The more you're in it, the more you understand. My buddy Jumper, who he's been on the podcast before, and he's in our trade group, and he's entrepreneurial fella, and the first thing I told him is the hardest part of crypto is like setting it up to where you can navigate the crypto world and get this
stuff. And that's
stuff.
what I was telling Ghost. I was like, dude, I can't.
You're never gonna.
I'm like,
it's
I've
never
only got
like
3 apps, and I'm sitting there. I'm like. How do I get this to there? Because all 3 apps are showing different values. And he's like, that's really not a bad thing, but like you need to transfer this and this when you're ready to do this and this. I'm like, no, dude. Like, I'm used to like just one or two things.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not like that. You have to set up, like, you have to be able to, if you're going to trade actively,
yeah,
you're gonna have to like get into the weeds on some stuff, and
yeah.
and that's the hardest I guess that's the hardest part is learning.
It took me 2 weeks to figure out an exchange to buy crypto. The first time,
Dude. Yeah, whenever that was
Because I know it's easier now.
Oh yeah,
But back
we
in
couldn't
the day,
even find where to get it.
yeah,
dude. Coinbase, I think it only had Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, it probably did.
It might have only had Bitcoin. Whenever this was 4 years ago,
Right.
so dude, it took us because we were trying to buy EOS.
Yeah.
And it took
What is EOS?
EOS.
Well, you can watch another video on that.
You
won't
it's
get him started.
I haven't seen that. Yet.
It's another platform similar to Ethereum, to where it's built to be built on top of. It's built as an operating system.
Yeah.
And it has a different type of consensus mechanism where Bitcoin is proof of work and Ethereum is proof of work. EOS is what's called delegated proof of stake, and
You have to hold the token to be able to validate the transactions.
yeah.
Instead of
Well,
mining for it.
you vote in what's called a block producer, and your vote, you can only vote if you're part of the network and you're a EOS holder.
Yeah.
So it's democratic, So what you don't, and the transactions are free. So if you want to set up a good wallet for EOS, it's called Wombat, and Wombat's like MetaMask, and you can get on to something called like Nudex or DeFi Box.
Yeah.
And you can interact with those exchanges, they're decentralized exchanges, and you don't pay fees.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially free.
It's funny.
Gasless.
So I was talking to finish this up a little bit, but like I was talking to my captain of and he was telling me,
Captain, it's Chief, and we need to talk.
right? Yeah, exactly. And that's that. We'll leave it at that. And he's an older guy, and he said he used to use crypto way back in the day to buy stuff off the black market.
Yeah.
And so he had a little bit of experience with it and remembers when it was down at like when you could buy crypto for like $1.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin for like $1, $2.
Yeah.
And he'd sit there and just he just remembers transacting through that and just being like, man, hindsight 2020 like he's like, I'd be a rich man if I would have just held on to that.
You just don't understand it. It's too early at that stage to understand what it could be.
There were some people, there's some good, I know I gave you some books, but there's, I'll show you some more that are just really good for like the history of Bitcoin. And there are people who like realized early on, like, this is a revolutionary technology. Like, it's going to be a thing, and they have computers that they've got their Bitcoin on that they have killed the battery on the laptop and have it stashed away in a safe deposit box. With like thousands and thousands of Bitcoins on multiple computers. And because they realized early on,
Okay, so that kind of goes back to my old question. Like, those guys are holding on to those Bitcoins. Those Bitcoins exist.
Yeah.
They're not making any new Bitcoins, right? Like, well, they're making them until you said
21 million.
What was it?
21 million?
Yeah, 21 million. So these guys that got in super early and just bought up all these Bitcoins, they're just going to be,
they already.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
They already are.
Well, because you got to, you've got to change your mind from, in crypto, you can't think in dollars.
Yeah. Which my mind does right now. Yeah. It does.
You have to think in Bitcoin, and because that's what you're really after. You're after more Bitcoin, and because dollars are eventually going to go away in its current fashion.
Yeah.
And because of what we're seeing. $1.9 trillion stimulus is.
Yeah. Oh, and they're already talking about doing a bigger one.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. We're talking about doing a $2 or $3 trillion.
Oh, whatever.
I mean, we're already going down.
Just do it.
Well,
I mean,
but,
whatever.
And then Jerome Powell said it would take 20 trillion plus to really have a dynamic on the inflation. Which,
anyways,
without
we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up tonight.
This is fun.
Yeah, that was some great new information. For people.
I have a lot of things answered. I really do. That was really good. My brain is still confused on sometimes where the value comes from, but I think that will constantly confuse everybody.
Yeah, it's the same with any item.
So it comes from it's good money. So you have to ask yourself what makes good money. Like why was gold? Why did it ever become money?
I often ask that question, and I think it's because there was a finite amount of it that we knew of.
Well, that's one reason,
And because people gave it value.
But in my thing, what we actually, Ghost and I were talking about this, and actually you were on the phone.
Yeah.
Yelling at you.
We were talking, and we brought up a famous name, Peter Schiff.
Yeah.
Who's anti-crypto, and I'm not a Peter Schiff believer. I follow him because there's some things he says that are pretty smart.
I think he's right.
He's not a dumb guy.
Yeah.
The guy is brilliant and made lots of money because he's good at what he does. But there's also a couple things he says that he's a little old school, but I brought him up because he's a big believer in like just gold. And crypto is essentially an electronic gold.
So, but
like,
what
really
is intrinsic value? Intrinsic value. Where's the intrinsic value?
If we all woke up and Men in Black zapped ourselves and said gold is now bullshit, and woke up, there'd be no value of gold anyways, right?
Yeah.
Potentially.
No, and we would just be like, what's this shiny rock? Well, this beer's shiny. That rock is the same equivalent as this beer. There you go, done.
Well, gold's not just shiny though. Some of the main reasons gold became money was because it's a easily malleable metal. It can be cut down in smaller pieces and weighed out. So, and you can say, hey, this piece of bread costs an ounce of gold. It can cost an ounce of gold here or an ounce of gold in China.
Right.
You know, so it doesn't oxidize, and it's finite, potentially finite. There's a finite amount on Earth.
Yeah.
But we're still finding more. We're still finding more. I mean, in one of our episodes, we talked. There was I don't remember the amount, but it was a ton of gold found over in Russia, and
with evolution comes better technology for finding more gold.
Yeah.
Better machines.
And we can also go out and mine different planets.
I mean that's
things like that.
Well, there's
get
asteroids.
Real space odyssey with it.
There's asteroids floating around. I mean, dude, that's going to be a thing where we're going to get resources.
We're gonna go and wrap this up. We can keep going on for hours.
Where's my tinfoil, man?
Dude, it's only 10, dude. Let's go, bro.
We got a family coming in town that's probably already sitting at the house.
They're probably sitting there like, why the heck is Pat?
It's alright. We'll show them this video
I
afterwards.
just said their name. Whatever.
I don't know what you said.
No.
Nobody heard you. But yeah, that was a good little Q&A.
I learned so much, guys. Thank y'all.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
I am on board. I am excited to start this and continue this.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
I don't know how. I still don't know anything about NFTs.
It's all right.
As much as my brain just kind of barely scraped the surface of understanding crypto, NFTs are whack. But I like them. But I got it. Hey, there you go. So
I'm sure there's a lot more questions we didn't cover or go over. So if y'all got anything, put them in the comments. We'll try and get it on the next episode of the Q&A. We'll try and do. We'll try and push these in every few episodes, just to get a little more help out there for the new guys. But we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Digital edge.
Adios.
Like and